How many times do you get into stressful situations a week? A lot? How often and how fast are you able to calm yourself? Do you have a proven go-to method? Imagine you're standing in line at the bank on one of these days. The minutes seem to stretch into eternity, and it's causing your palms to sweat. Your heart begins to race, throwing your mind into a whirlwind of stress. It's a scenario many of us have encountered at some point in our lives, and in moments like these, finding a fast and effective way to calm down can be incredibly helpful. Wouldn't it be a game changer if you could have something you could turn to at this moment? Well, Andrew Huberman seems to think there is. It's not a book, a course, a meditation technique, or a pill. It's something your body already has and can do naturally. It is called the physiological sigh.
The physiological sigh was discovered in the 30s. It's now been explored at the neurobiological level and mechanistically in far more detail by Jack Feldman's lab at UCLA, also Mark Krasno's lab at Stanford. And the physiological sigh is something that humans and animals do anytime they are about to fall asleep. You also do it throughout sleep from time to time when carbon dioxide, which we'll talk about in a moment, builds up too much in your system.
It's like your body knows to yawn when you're sleepy or cry when you're upset. It also knows how to use the physiological sigh to bring peace and calmness.
The physiological sigh is something that people naturally start doing when they've been crying and they're trying to recover some air or calm down, when they've been sobbing very hard, or when they are in claustrophobic environment.
In this video, you'll learn something simple but profound, a way to breathe when you need to relax. You'll not only understand how it works, but also see how you can use it in your activities. By the end of this video, you'll have a better idea of how your body and mind are connected to help you get that instant stress relief you need. So let's get started. What is the physiological sigh? What makes the physiological sigh special? What makes the physiological sigh special is that you can control it on purpose using your diaphragm. What does this mean? Your other body parts, like your heart or spleen, work automatically. You can't just tell your heart to stop beating. Your diaphragm, on the other hand, is like a Simon Says muscle. You can tell it what to do. You can decide how you want to breathe, whether it's taking a big breath or doing it a few times in a row. This makes your diaphragm a useful tool for handling stress and worries. The phrenic nerve makes the connection between your brain and the diaphragm possible. It's the courier that carries instructions from your brain to your diaphragm. Thanks to this nerve, you can consciously change the way you breathe. You can speed up or slow down your breathing, whether it's taking quick breaths or long, slow ones. How does the physiological sigh work?
Physiological sigh is something that we do spontaneously, but when you're feeling stressed, you can do a double inhale, long exhale. And the reason is the double inhale exhale, which is the physiological sigh, takes advantage of the fact that when we do a double inhale, even if the second inhale is sneaking in just a tiny bit more air, because it's kind of hard to get two deep inhales back to back, you do big deep inhale and then another little one sneaking it in. The little sacs in your lungs, the alveoli of the lungs, your lungs aren't just two big bags, but you've got millions of little sacs throughout the lungs that actually make the surface area of your lungs as big as a tennis court. It's amazing if we were to just spread that out. Those tend to collapse as we get stressed, and carbon dioxide builds up in our bloodstream, and that's one of the reasons we feel agitated as well. So, and it makes us very jittery. I mean, there's some other effects of carbon dioxide that I don't want to get into, but when you do the double inhale exhale, the double inhale reinflates those little sacs of the lungs, and then when you do the long exhale, that long exhale is now much more effective at ridding your body and bloodstream of carbon dioxide, which relaxes you very quickly.
When can you use the physiological sigh? You can use the physiological sigh whenever you're feeling stressed or anxious. Life throws unexpected challenges at us all the time. Sometimes it's a stressful situation you're having at work. Other times, it's a tense moment in one of our relationships. On most occasions, it's just the pressures of your daily life. The great thing about the physiological sigh is that it's a quick and effective tool you can use in real time to calm yourself down. Now, let's get back to the scenario described earlier in this video. So, you're stuck in a long line at the bank. Your palms are sweaty, your heart is racing, and you're feeling unnecessarily anxious or nervous. Can you use the physiological sigh to calm yourself without drawing attention? Absolutely. Just take 2 inhales and an exhale while your body does the rest. This technique still works if you're dealing with a demanding situation at home or facing a hectic day at work. The physiological sigh can come to your rescue. It's especially handy when you find it hard to calm your mind with your thoughts alone. Have you tried engaging your mind when you're excited about something or when you're sleepy? You should know that your mind jumps into a different state of functionality when you're super alert or extremely tired. In those moments, this simple breathing technique can help bring your level of stress down and restore a sense of calm. What does this help you to achieve? It allows you to reactivate your brain and navigate life's challenges more smoothly without having to jitter. Does that mean you can use the physiological sigh to control your mind? Yes. The ability to use it to control your mind is based on a fundamental principle of human physiology. What's that principle? When you deliberately change your breathing pattern, you send a signal to your brain that it's time to shift gears. How does your brain respond? Well, it depends on the breathing pattern you choose. Because some breathing patterns can make you more active, like inhaling more than you exhaled. How does your brain respond to the physiological sigh? It responds by dialing down the stress response and activating the relaxation response. The physiological sigh is like telling your brain, "Hey, let's take a breather here." And your brain listens. As a result, you regain a sense of control over your emotions and thoughts. You become more present and aware of the current moment. You're also less consumed about worries about what has happened or will happen. This is why the physiological sigh is such a powerful tool in mindfulness and stress management. It's a way to access your body's built-in calming mechanism and bring your mind back to the state of balance. How does the physiological sigh affect your heart rate? A rapid reduction in your heart rate can lead to a phenomenon known as the vasovagal response. Imagine standing up after sitting for a while, or getting up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. Suddenly, you feel lightheaded and might even collapse or faint. This happens because your heart rate drops too quickly. Avoid overstimulating the calming response in your body. Why? This can lead to an abrupt and excessive drop in your heart rate. Some people might experience this when they see something highly distressing or stressful, causing them to pass out. What this means is that they become so relaxed so rapidly that their bodies respond by collapsing. Understanding how heart rate deceleration works is highly important when using the physiological sigh. So when you're using the physiological sigh to reduce stress, keep in mind that your heart rate will take a bit of time to return to its baseline. This process typically takes about 20 to 30 seconds. It's perfectly normal. You may need to repeat the physiological sigh a few times to achieve your desired level of calmness. Can the physiological sigh make you sleep better? When you're stressed or anxious during the day, carbon dioxide levels in your bloodstream can increase. These elevated carbon dioxide levels can make you feel agitated and jittery. You'll agree that this state isn't conducive to falling asleep. The long exhale component of the physiological sigh helps expel carbon dioxide effectively. As carbon dioxide levels decrease, you naturally become more relaxed, setting the stage for sleep. Some individuals find that performing multiple cycles of the physiological sigh, perhaps 10 to 15 cycles, can lead to sleep induction. The extended exhales in this breathing pattern have a sedative effect, making you feel drowsy. This can be particularly helpful if you're having difficulty falling asleep and want a natural and drug-free method to induce slumber. Is the physiological sigh the best way, or is there another way?
My lab, in collaboration with David Spiegel's lab, David's the Associate Chair of Psychiatry at Stanford, are doing a study right now exploring how physiological sighs and other patterns of breathing done deliberately can modulate the stress response and other things related to emotionality. Those work are ongoing. I want to be clear, those studies aren't done. But it's very clear from work in our labs, from work in Jack Feldman's lab, and others, that the physiological sigh is the fastest, hardwired way for us to eliminate this stressful response in our body quickly in real time.